Thank you to everyone tuning back into another CSE listed issuer update. I'm Anil Mall representing the CSE, and I'm here today with Emma Andrews. Emma is the newly appointed CEO of Nextleaf Solutions, Inc. Emma, welcome once again. I know we've had you on our program quite a bit talking about the cannabis industry. I want to start off by congratulating you on the new appointment. Tell us a little bit about this. How did it come about?
Absolutely. I've been involved with Nextleaf actually since day one, since the genesis. So it makes me really proud to have worked through a number of different departments and roles and into this leadership position. I've always had that knack and that thirst for leadership. So pioneering in this role, I think, is really exciting. It's a new pivot and inflection point for us going forwards, and it really does align with my skills. So it's an honor to be in the role. I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of our technology and excited to chat with you today about it.
Emma, you've always been a great supporter of the industry overall. And, we're going into 5 years since legislation legalizing cannabis. Where are we at as an industry with this space?
Gosh, I kind of wish we had an interview retrospective from 5 years ago, because the way that everyone, I think, unanimously projected the industry would go has morphed dramatically in that 5 years, both in reflection to the consumers, shifting demands and preferences on their behalf. Obviously, we've had the pandemic in the midst of that time, different waves of legalization with different product formats. So that graduated entry, I think, also changed the way that maybe consumers interacted with the products. Yeah. And then differences in retail too, and we can dive into that a little bit deeper, but a lot of fragmentation between the provinces that has led to a regionalized strategy for a lot of brands, when typically, in other industries like alcohol, you'd look at it more on a national scale. So a lot of puzzle pieces that each brand and each licensed producer is trying to fit into place to have this kind of master national strategy, but really requiring you to be laser focused on your consumer in each market, have a really strong connection with retailers and the distribution model, and a really clear vision for your product strategy as well.
Speaking of strategy, I know the company originally had started with a little bit of a different vision, and then sort of transitioned into more of a CPG focused company. Can you talk to us a little bit about the origins and the transition?
Absolutely. So as many longtime investors might know, how we began is really through intellectual property and our technology. We have a highly automated, extremely sophisticated extraction facility in Coquitlam. So that is still our foundation for our ingredient supply business. And because we own that ingredient supply business, it allows us to have a really competitive advantage in costs for our consumer packaged goods strategy. That's always been in the pipeline for us. That's always been a trajectory that we've had in our sights, and now are able to act on it based on both licenses in hand and the team in place, and then seeing the opportunities in the market and moving quickly to fill them.
So now let's jump into Nextleaf. The company has had a strong year. Talk to us about 2023. Let's go through some of the highlights that you can talk about.
Totally. Our last quarter, so Q3 of our financial year, was extremely strong. For those that haven't seen the press release, profitable quarter, secured debt-free, positive year-to-date 9-month EBITDA as well. So we're extremely proud of that foundation as we head into close this quarter and set our sights on 2024. So this is exactly the type of stable business we've been working towards for a while. It feels really good to realize that vision. And I know I can speak on behalf of the team that we feel very optimistic about the future.
Now, Glacial Gold, that's sort of been the talk of 2023 for oils. Talk to us about this brand, how it came about, what regions is it available in, and what type of feedback are you receiving from the consumer?
So Glacial Gold is a legacy brand that we were able to bring into the legal market, which offered us a bunch of advantages in terms of brand recognition and also having a bit of identity established that we could build upon. So we weren't building a brand from scratch, which is a fairly long, exhaustive, and expensive runway for those that are beginning from square one. So that allowed us quick entry into the market, particularly in our backyard of BC. BC has offered us a number of opportunities in terms of speed to market advantages, and that's one of the strengths that we're really playing to. BC is our backyard, obviously being a Coquitlam-based processing facility, but BC is also, like I said, speed to market, and so we've been able to get quick wins and start generating revenue in BC, particularly dominating in the vape category, our soft gels, which we're becoming the category leaders in, and we'll soon be launching some new SKUs as well in the infused pre-roll category. In Alberta as well, this is a much longer due diligence process. So for investors who have been kind of waiting for further announcements in Alberta, we actually have 7 SKUs launching as of this week. They are available now, so please keep an eye out if you're Alberta based. And we have 3 more CBD SKUs coming in November, so in quick order. So as soon as we had that due diligence process, we were fast on distribution. And then Ontario, obviously, there's a lot of attention in Ontario, and for good reason. Obviously, a really large market, the largest legal cannabis market in the world. In Ontario, we'll have 16 total SKUs by February. It's a much longer product submission and approval process, 6 to 9 months. So it does take a lot longer to get our products loaded in. But gratefully, all the successes that we're seeing in BC, we're able to translate over to Ontario, just a bit of a slower path to market.
I want to jump back into how we started this conversation. So obviously, as the new appointed CEO of Nextleaf Solutions, I'm sure your investors, long-term or new investors, probably have some questions. They're wondering about, what's happening, what might be the new vision, what you bring to the table if they don't know. Can you maybe talk to our audience about that and address what your vision might be for this company moving forward?
Absolutely. I mentioned before, CPG is my area of expertise. So that is our lead strategy, where that might have been our underdog before. It is now the lead horse in the race. So that includes innovation. One of our strategies has been being really smart about innovating at the peripheries and in the margins. So exploring different product formats and different potencies based on consumer demand, feedback from retailers. So innovation that is filling gaps in the market as some extremely low-hanging fruit that we see as a very viable opportunity to generate some quick wins. Beyond CPG, we still have our ingredient supply business. So our wholesale market is still a focus for us. We're continuing to see price compression. We're continuing to see increased demand, though. So that will remain a focus. And one of the competitive advantages of our processing facility is automation. So it allows us to offer that competitive price point. And then we're still exploring international expansion through export under licensed partners as well. So that continues to be an area of focus. But CPG is definitely where we want to make immediate wins.
Yeah. The cannabis industry, especially in Canada, is not without its issues. What are some of the setbacks and hurdles that you're still finding 5 years later that can definitely make this industry a lot more profitable and accessible to everybody?
A number of different areas. Brands, I think, we overhyped how much brands would play a prominence in the consumer decision making, but really it is coming back to value. So both potency and convenience. So for those of us that have come from other CPG categories into cannabis, there may have been that appetite or desire to invest more heavily in brand building, but it really is about product formats, which isn't as potentially exciting from the brand building perspective, but it's really where profitability is to be made. So if you can be smart in creating a brand that resonates through touch points like the way it visualizes in store, or identifiers from the legacy that consumers might be willing to adopt in the legal market, or really tight connections with retailers as well, that can all be really great levers in terms of your sell-through. And we have a really smart commercial team. So those that have come from the natural products industry, from within cannabis as well. So really tuned into the pulse of consumers. And I think that's where the wins are to be made, not so much on the top-down brand approach, but coming from the percolating, consumer feedback and what the retailers are really asking for. Like I said, value, price, potency.
You touched on this a little bit, your background in the CPG sort of space. For our viewers that might not be familiar with sort of your journey in this industry and further, can you talk to us a little bit about, how you got into this space and your journey in this industry?
Absolutely. Believe it or not, I'm a nutritionist by training before I got into more of the business and commercialization side. My training as a nutritionist really informed me into my entry into the natural products industry. So driven by a desire for an enhanced quality of life and improved well-being. in the natural products industry, I was really grateful to be a part of the team at Vega. We grew from, being the very first plant-based nutrition protein on the market into a global leader, a category leader. A lot of disruptive ideas that I gained from there, including innovation. And that's what I brought with me into the cannabis industry. I've been consulting for a number of years, all aspects of the industry, which I'm so grateful for, everything from harvesting to retail, to consumer packaged goods, processing, you name it, before coming on full board with Nextleaf.
Are there any key team members that you want to address and talk about as well?
Honestly, I'm very pleased with our operations, our quality assurance, and our commercial team. I think those are central to our success as a CPG company. And we've been really working hard to help elevate leaders from within the company, including myself, coming from the director of marketing role into an executive role. But a number of team players that have been with us for well over several years. They've seen our investment into technology. They've come with us through licensing and now into the consumer packaged goods model. To be honest, there's more names than I want to name, but I'll shout out our QA team, our operations, and our commercialization team.
So from what you're saying, Emma, Oils is on pace to finish 2023 at a very strong rate. What about 2024? I know you've mentioned a little bit, but can you maybe recap what our viewers can expect from the company ending 2023 and going into 2024?
Absolutely. So continued penetration into our existing markets, BC, Alberta, and Ontario being the primary focus. So that's additional listings of SKUs that we already have in the pipeline, including some infused pre-rolls, some max THC potency vape products, and our soft gels as well. So again, consumers are really looking for high potency and good value, and we will be delivering. Those are some easy wins. Beyond that, we obviously have additional markets within Canada that we want to continue to get our SKUs listed. We have format and flavor innovations that will continue to roll out on a monthly basis. And we have a lot of in-store sales investment to go, whether that's experiential marketing, product demonstrations, retailer and education trainings, bringing them for tours at our head office. So continuing to double down on building velocity at store level. And that's a huge focus for any CPG player, but really where we believe immediate wins are to be made.
Lots of work to be done then.
It's exciting. It's an exciting time. Honestly, I'm charged up. The team is too. We really see a clear path ahead. And I know we're very committed to that vision and working together collaboratively for it.
I love it. And I think that's a good message for anybody that might sort of be on the sidelines. We always encourage our viewers to go to your website, not only read up on your products and the background of the team, but also, of course, sign up for upcoming press releases and news so you can keep up with the company's progress. Where would you like to point our viewers to sign up for this information?
Nextleafsolutions.com. And I can guarantee there's some exciting things coming down the pipeline that you won't want to miss.
Emma, I'm going to give you the last minute just to maybe address your newly appointed role as the CEO and to your existing and maybe new shareholders.
I am incredibly excited. I think my passion probably speaks for itself, but I'd love to just recommunicate that. This is exactly where I want to be in the industry. I'm a passionate cannabis consumer myself. This is truly a career opportunity of a lifetime to get to lead a company I believe in with products that I'm passionate about and people I love to work with. So we have a bright future ahead, and thank you everyone for coming along for the ride.
Well said, Emma. And from not only myself, but our entire team at the Canadian Securities Exchange, we want to welcome you on board as the CEO of Nextleaf Solutions. To everybody watching, you've been listening to Emma Andrews. As I mentioned, she is the newly appointed CEO of Nextleaf Solutions, trades on the CSE under the symbol OILFF. I look forward to hosting you on again in 2024 so we can talk a little bit more about the progress, how 2023 ended, and wish you and your team nothing but success as you move forward.
It's a privilege. Thanks, Anil.